People, Deluded, I'm back again. I've literally just jumped off the underground. Shout out to my man in the back. But what was I going to say to you lot? Obviously, we've seen a couple of young players have gone off to America, and I know there's a lot of debate as to why Amici didn't go and things like that. But at the end of the day, regardless, away from Amici, I believe should have been on the plane, and obviously Bielik's on holiday and that. Regardless of your opinions, I know all these youth experts will be saying, why is this guy going? Why is Oli Inca going? Why is Thompson going? Why is Burton going? Why is this guy there? Why is that guy there? At the end of the day, they've all got a long way before being professionals. Tyrese, John, Jules as well. But at the end of the day, this is what the players look to. Encouraging signs. It's a long way to go before they can become regulars in the side, but this is what they're aspiring to do: train on a regular basis with the first team, to go off with Arsenal in pre-season. First and foremost, I don't know if any of them have been to America, so they get to see a new country and explore it and things like that via the opportunity of being professional footballers. Might not have been able to do that if they were doing any other vocation, so I'm happy to see that. Obviously they know Arsenal's a big club and a well followed club, but when they see another country with other fans who don't get to see Arsenal week in, week out, it'll be another level. It'll be continuously, they'll see the continuous love they'll get, man. Everywhere they'll go, they'll be signing autographs and things like that. And for me, that's good, because obviously they're a long way from being professional footballers. Well, they are professional footballers, but you know what I mean by regulars in the team. But it's a good bit of encouragement. It makes you want to go back. When they go back to London, Coley and whatever, they train harder because they see the feeling. It reminds them why they do this, to be honest, people. Just small W's, if anything. But obviously, we know Tyrese, John, Jules. Is there any point me speaking about him? I speak about him all the time. You all know who he is. He's a young striker, knows how to score goals, developing well, and making progress. Obviously, he's got a lot to improve, but he's gone off. You saw him score for the boys when they went off to Dubai, when Amici was there as well. He's been doing his thing, so he's got a good chance. Training with Lacazette and Aubameyang, competing against them. Obviously, showing Emre like, yo, listen, I'm about this. You can depend on me if the time ever comes, sort of thing. Do you get it? And also for Tyrese as well, obviously our young striker Eddie Nketiah has gone out there as well. So it's both of them fighting for that, really and truly. One of them might go on loan in January or even now. Probably my guess would be one of them in January. But they're fighting between each other and things like that. So that's good little healthy competition. Obviously you've got young Joe Willock there. You've got, is Emil Smith-Rowe there? I'm sure he's there. You've got Nelson. There's no point me speaking about the usual ones. You've got Thompson, primarily a left back. Remains to be seen if he can have a long-term future here, people. Admittedly, I think his chances will be quite tough. But he's a decent player, man, and he's played in a couple of other positions. I don't think he's a 10, but he's played in the 10 role last season watching, apologies people, the 23s and that. He's a decent player. You've got Zach Medley, who's gone off. We know he's made his debut in the Europa League. He's a centre-half. You could probably shoehorn him at left-back. I think he's a long way away from being in first team contention, and he possibly should have went out on loan to advance him to the next level. But apparently Bold convinced him to stay, be the captain and all of these sort of things. With Koscielny not going there, obviously it's a long way away from him staking his claim on a regular basis to be part of the first team, but he can show Emre, listen, I can be depended on, and sort of thing. Like I said, he probably will not feature too tough next season. Obviously I'd hope for him to and things like that, but it'll be difficult for him because he's going against Koscielny's future's up in air, but he's obviously going to have Koscielny. Mavropanos isn't fit yet, but there's Mavropanos, there's Holding, there's Chambers, there's Saliba to come next season if reports are to be believed. And we're in the market for another centre-half, so game time is going to be limited. Is that why Danny Ballard went out on loan? Because I thought he would have been someone that would have went on tour, someone that might have made his Europa League debut and things like that. Obviously, making your Europa League debut, the odd 10, 5 minutes or whatever, isn't going to advance you, so I salute him going out on loan. But I would have thought, especially with Longberg being in the first team setup, maybe that's why a couple of these players got pulled up. You've got Oli Inca, who primarily a midfielder, been shoehorned at fullback on the right-hand side for the under-23s as well, getting his chance. Who else has gone? Robbie Burton, very technical-based midfielder. Again, remains to be seen whether he'll have chances here long-term, but very good technical-based midfielder. And for all of these players, and any that I'm missing out, you could probably bet Lundberg had something to do with it and said these are the guys, and it's testament. And regardless of your opinion on these players, it shows for these young players somebody's always watching. Whenever you think someone's not watching, it goes beyond just having a good game. Someone's always watching how you're off the field, how you're interacting, how you're carrying yourself, lifestyle choices. Obviously, making it as a professional footballer is tough for many reasons. You guys know you need to be given a chance by the manager. The manager's also under pressure. The team's under pressure. It's crabs in a barrel, injuries. There's all different variables for players making it, not making it, and things like that. So in short, this is just small wins, because for any of these players, it's not a guarantee they're going to make it at Arsenal. But it's a small win. At least they can take something away from this as well. And if you're not gone on tour, don't feel disheartened. Like, I still believe in Amici. He'll probably have to assess his own options. I believe in him, but use this as fuel. Use this as fuel for the new season, that you have a smashing season, and Emery never repeats this again, and he can never exclude you when he's speaking about young players and things like that. Would have thought Ben Sheaf might have got a call up. Ben Sheaf, he would have got a call up. Very technical based midfielder. Obviously, I'm sure Emery's called him up previously. Would have thought he would have got 2 minutes, people, on tour, but potentially he's staying. My guess would be he's not gone purely because either injury. It could be injury, or it could just be simply not called up. But my guess is he'll probably go on loan in the near future. Like, maybe he's staying to prepare for a loan spell. Again, I'm just speculating. I don't know, people, but yeah, man, it's good for these young players, man, especially for Zach Medley, because he's captain for the under-23s. He wants to ideally show Emery that he could be utilised at some point in the season, or he might go on loan in January, because at the end of the day, minutes are currency. Joe Willock, obviously I've spoken about primarily the under-23 players, but speaking on players that have been on the cusp for a while and are in that sort of bracket, you look at Willock, you look at Nelson, you look at Emil, and you look at Nketiah. Now it's not now or never in their careers, but they've got to show that they can be used, because it's all good being promoted, being given new first team spots, shirts and things like that. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters now is, in a year's time, how many appearances have you made, how many minutes have you played. They're the only things that are important to people, and it's down to them if they're going to be judged as senior players now. Obviously, we recognise they're young, they're still developing and improving and things like that, and they're not the finished article. But to a degree, none of that matters now. It doesn't matter that these are young players with potential. If you're in the first team, you're there because Emery deems that you can be called upon. And now it's a case of fighting against Xhaka, who, regardless of your opinion, is going to be in that side week in, week out. Who is Torreira? Guendouzi promising. You now have to fight week in, week out. For Joe, for example, for Emery to consider that you're a better option on a match day or a week in, week out basis. Eddie's got, it might be even impossible, but he's got to fight against Lacazette and Aubameyang to start week in, week out. Obviously, guys can collect squad roles and things like that. Nelson's got to show he can be used on the flanks, because there's been a lot of players and a lot of things done with wide players. Emil the same in his respective position. You get the point at this moment in time. It's competitive. Some players won't make it through no fault of their own, through lack of opportunity, through simply not being good. They've all got the chances now. Hopefully they all play substantially, most important this season, and get chances if they as well as earning it. Hopefully fans stay behind them as well, because as fans, I feel at times, as much as fans are right to be disgruntled and disheartened and things, can be very illogical. Like, you can't bang for young players to play and bang on 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 and bang on, and then when they play, you're shocked that they've had the occasional mare where they've done youthful mistakes. I'm not saying constructive criticism and all of that's invalid. Constructive criticism is irrelevant from this, because that goes with the part and parcel of the game that is needed. I'm talking, you lot know what I'm talking about. The people that will say, yeah, I want Nelson to play. Next minute he's saying he's overrated and he's this and that. You lot know the people I'm referring to, and the individuals that continue like that in general in this fan base and stuff like that. So stand by these young players. Not all of them will make it in this squad, but they've all got encouraging signs, whether you're the first team, the newly promoted first team young players in Joe and that, or you're these under-23s. You've got an opportunity, so take it. You never know what could happen, who can make it, because 9 times out of 10 people, it's the players you're not looking at. The players you don't think that can make it are the ones to have a career at the club, or not even that, have a good career. And then you'll look back in a year or 2 or 5 years and be like, oh, he was at Arsenal. I swear, I don't remember that. You've seen all these occasions, people, and things like that, man. Some players hit the ground running. Some players need a while. Some players are better off going to lower leagues and finding their feet. Some play on loan or permanently. Some players are better off staying near the club. Everybody's development path is different, people. It's like you're no different from any individual in life. So how can any footballer? No two footballers are alike. What would improve you as a footballer might not necessarily improve me. My weaknesses might be your strengths. Do you get it? On that note, I've got nothing more to say, so I'm going to keep it moving. What's the time now? I'm still on time as well. Like I said, I'm early. I've just jumped off the train. First and foremost, people, thank you for watching and rocking each and every time. Deluded, I'm out.